Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to a summary of news and headlines from around the globe with your host. That would be me, the roaming prepper, aka Pete. I normally try to do a premiere with these videos, but as we all know, my schedule is not only erratic, it's sometimes straight up psychotic, and when that happens, I don't make my own premieres. So if I don't for some reason, feel free to get into the chat anyway, chat with the mods and everyone else, and leave me questions or comments below the video, and I try to answer them within a few days, although lately it's been sometimes up to a week, so I apologize to all of you for that. But you guys know how it is. So ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, let's start talking about what's going on in the world, because I have to tell you, the last couple of months have been super interesting and super exciting, well, depending on your definition of excitement. So, this particular article is showing that it's happening, is the way they put it. 900 U.S. troops deploy. In reality, it's been a lot more than that. I mentioned this same article a few weeks back, or a week or so ago. And right now, at this point, we have a lot of assets in the area. There's carrier groups. There are F-15Es in Jordan. There are A-10 Warthogs in Cyprus. Normally, if you're going to mobilize for a war, a lot of people think it happens spontaneously. It doesn't. It takes weeks, if not months, for an actual conflict to escalate. If you look back at, for example, at World War I, where the fastest mode of transportation was a train or a horse-drawn carriage, it took a while for these guys to mobilize their troops. So keep all these things in mind. What we're seeing here is not only the escalation, but the placing of pieces. Of course, the U.S. embassies have recommended that everybody start evacuating the Middle East. They've recommended that since the October 7th attack. And as the U.S. deploys their second aircraft carrier to support or at least be present for the ground invasion, I think largely as a deterrent to Iran, we continue to see people trying to get out of that area. Now, this is very difficult because people can't go north in the Gaza Strip because they're fighting there, and if they go south, there's only one or two places they can escape to get into Egypt. And if you don't have a foreign passport, the Egyptians are like, sorry, we don't want you here because you're a pain in our butt. So, really tough situation on the ground. As of this report, actually this article may be a day or two older. As of my most recent information, the Israeli army has essentially surrounded Gaza City, and they're going to start squeezing it. They're going to start moving in. They've used an immense amount of firepower and basically have crushed the resistance, or whatever the resistance was. I have a feeling, I don't think that Hamas was expecting to get hit back that badly. Now, on the home front, you know, we're letting so many people into our nation, but many of them are not being vetted, and there are over 1.5 million gotaways. Basically, they were given a date and they never showed up. They just went away. Most of the immigrants are coming back because they like to be citizens, etc., but some of them take off. If even 1% of that number are bad actors, that's going to be an immense amount of people. And Eric Adams claims New York is out of room to house migrants as 500,000 locals flee the city. New York City has lost an immense amount of people, not just to other areas to live. They're people who've up and left the state, entirely left the state, because it's no longer sustainable. The tax you're paying versus what they're doing for the people just don't match up. People are going to greener pastures. Now, we'll tell you, those of you who may be there and planning to move, if you come to Texas, please don't vote in people like the New York people. Not the New York people in general, these idiot politicians. Select better politicians. Anyway, nationwide blackout, fuel scarcity loom as workers mobilize for indefinite strike. Now, I wanted to post this one from Daily Post Nigeria. I showed this a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to bring it back because as of Saturday, which would be the 3rd of November 2023, someone tried to break into a nuclear power plant, I believe in North Carolina. Now, I'm still getting details on that. By the time you guys see this, there'll probably be a lot more information out there. But imagine if someone took out that power station, or they took out an interchange, or they attacked a series of power transfer stations, similar to the shooting of transfer stations over on the West Coast. You don't realize how quickly that would literally plunge entire sections of our nation into darkness. And the bad guys know this, so pay attention, and if you have preps for blackout situations, double check them, especially for the winter. This article from the Wall Street Journal, it's U.S. versus China in an increasingly divided world economy. That I will tell you right now that a lot of analysts are saying China's economy is in serious trouble. Now, why is that? Well, China, much like the U.S., rates their GDP in a large percentage on real estate. Well, we've seen over the last year that China's real estate market is faux. No pun intended, not PHOFAUX, it's false. They've built buildings that are now being demolished because there are not enough people to live in them, or people can't afford to live in them. The buildings are so shoddily built that people on one floor fall through the floor into the other guy's living room. And their real estate market is garbage. So we keep looking at our commercial real estate going, wow, that's really going to hurt the American economy. These guys are in trouble. Now you add to that the pressures of the economies and protests such as what you're seeing here, and there's a lot of tension, a lot of instability on the street. And I've been bringing this up a lot because I do travel, even if it's only a couple hours away. I'm not at home, right? If you're traveling, do your homework before you step foot out the door. I'm going to do a Saturday Sitrep, which should post on the 4th, so those of you who have not seen it, you can go back and take a look at it. But this kind of situation can be bad. You walk out, this will absolutely clog up the city, and sadly it's also a big target. All you need is one bad guy with whatever motivation to attack this, and it would absolutely be a nightmare. Imagine if a person bombed that bridge while these people were on it and then somehow blamed Israel, or vice versa. You get what I'm saying. And to that point, because of the instability, much like in 2020 with the BLM riots and the Antifas and the Patriot Boys and all those idiots, people are buying guns at a record pace. In particular, this Fox News video, Jewish Americans reported buying guns at a record pace. Understandably so, because there are actually calls from politicians as well as people in the public, not just against Israel's actions, but essentially to lash out. And if you are a practicing Jew, you could be at risk. Now, I'm not saying there's not anti-Palestinian behavior. I'm not saying there's anti-Islamic behavior. But I'm saying the Jews are specifically being targeted by a lot of different groups, which is very bizarre and something we have not seen in a very long time. And unfortunately, when people are out looking to hurt someone, even if they don't find their local Jewish victim, they'll find somebody, and that could be used. So be careful on the streets. As far as science and technology, here's a fun one if you haven't seen it. It's called Nuke Map. You basically can go on this website, which is developed by a master degree guy who does like analytics. And he made this for giggles for somebody's project, and then it just kind of blew up, no pun intended. You can actually select a variety of output weapons. They have some pre-built ones like the Zarbomba or the M61 or the Minuteman II, and then pick a place and symbolically detonate it, and then you can see the concentric rings that represent the blast radius, the fireball, the radiation zone, the pressure wave, etc. For a guy who studied as much physics as I did getting my engineering degree, this was a lot of fun. I had way too much fun blowing up little cities all over the world and going, And as a matter of fact, they now have a new feature where you can put a little dude on the ground, and this little guy gives you what the radiation and the pressure and the wind would be at that point. So anyway, good research tool, not to freak you out. It's just creepy fun if you are an insane person like I am. Anyway, I want to talk about the economy, and this isn't an article per se, but a lot of folks are reporting issues with bills. People are driving terribly because they're either angry or stressed out, or they're just wore out, right? They're working too many shifts. There've been a slew of accidents in Texas. I think it's everywhere. Families can't pay the bill. People are going past due. I wish there was a solution that I could tell you, hey, this is what you need to do and it makes it better, because I don't know. There's steps you can take. Try to keep cash on hand. Try to budget yourself. When you go shopping, make a shopping list and stick to it. And if you're someone who doesn't stick to your shopping list, like some people I know, bring someone with you who will. And, we get through this. But it's tough. So Forbes, food insecurity is getting worse, but what can we do about it? And this is actually a good article. It sounds kind of fear-mongery on the front end, but when you read it, they talk about getting better programs for food. Now, I am the most anti-communist guy you'll find, but I also understand and appreciate the benefit of a good food program for people who can't afford. And there's no reason we can't. The article, if you can find it at Forbes, is very interesting. He also talks about changing the way farming's done, ranching. He doesn't go off that, oh, we must eat crickets cliff of stupidity that we've been hearing. He basically says we need more meat, we need more eggs, we need more everything. Let's give incentives, let's redirect products, so instead of spilling milk in fields because it doesn't have market, let's buy it at a specific rate and distribute it to kids in need, and so on and so forth. Obviously, it all takes money, but personally, I'd rather see my money go to feeding kids than to killing people in another country that I don't really give a shit about. But anyway, it's that. By the way, I gotta warn you, my next few weeks, my videos might be salty. You might find it fun, but anyway, my apologies if I offend. A reminder, be prepared for an active shooter. The run, hide, flight videos are very good. They're all over YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Also read up on how these things go down. Almost every active shooter scenario has occurred in a gun-free zone. Almost everyone I looked up. And when I say almost everyone, I looked up 8 of them, and 7 of the 8 were technically a gun-free zone. I noticed here in Texas, they were shot up a few churches. Now all the churches have authorized certain members of the congregation to get special training to be quote-unquote doormen or security. And now it's stopped. Amazing. But that's just my opinion of it. Bad guys do bad things when they think they can get away with it. Speaking of getting away, we're all going to start traveling. So you're going to see these tips come up a lot the next month or two. Travel tips before you go. Plan your travel method and alternates. Let others you trust know what your plans are. Don't tell assholes, and don't put it on social media. Oh, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks so someone can go and steal your shit. Don't be dumb. Schedule reputable airlines, etc. Don't go on janky airways. If you go overseas, I highly recommend, I'm not a fan of the State Department, but I do register in state.gov. So they have a running list of who's in the country. So if they have to pull you out, like say Israel, they have a general idea of, oh, this dude or this lady is in the country, let's try to find them. And what they'll do, they'll either call you or your family to see, well, did he make it back? Did he cut his trip short? And if they didn't, they're going to go and try and find you. When you're on the trip, do not wear fancy jewelry, etc. unnecessarily. Obviously, you're going to a dinner party, you may have to dress up. But once you're done, put your blue jeans and hoodie on and look poor. Look like you ain't got shit and leave me alone kind of dress. Use only local currency. Before I go overseas, I always take $100 or a couple $100 in whatever currency they use there. I get the conversion, so when I show up, I'm not showing American dollars. I act enough like an American day to day. Have EDC, even if it's just a flashlight. Remember, different countries have different laws. You can get in trouble, big trouble in another country. A flashlight, typically, you'll get away with. Get a physical map, and, be smart when you're out there. Also, quote from one of my favorite martial artists and a guy who had a degree in physiology and a master's, really smart guy, Bruce Lee. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all going through stuff. We're going through different stuff at different levels, but we're all going through something. Don't pray for the easy part. Pray for the strength, the courage, and the peace of soul to get through it. I've met some of the most amazing people doing what I'm doing, and y'all are part of the reason I keep doing it, because I feel that even not only do I hope I'm helping you? Very often your comments, questions, feedback, emails, texts help me understand the world better. So thank you all for that. And you guys be safe out there. As always, I will point out that thousands of minors are trafficked weekly. Now, folks, I beat this one up because, to me personally, I've had young kids in the family that were either attempted or the victims of an attempted trafficking or stalking, or they were actually kidnapped and molested, raped, etc. And I've seen the effects that shit has on it. I'm absolutely a fan of, letting convicted rapists in a room with the family with baseball bats. I honestly, or stickball bats, those make it last longer. But in any case, thousands of kids are trafficked. Look for the symptoms and signs. Now, there are a few things you can look for. They're skittish. They're not well nourished. Their dress doesn't match them. They show signs of abuse, bruises, cigarette burns, cuts. They're afraid to talk to you. They're afraid to look at your eyes. I've had the misfortune of driving through parts of Texas, at night for work. And you go from one side of town to the other to get to your hotel. And you can see on the street some of these kids hustling on the street. And they look awful. You can tell these kids are abused and they're scared. Because more than likely, someone in the shadows is telling them, you're going to do this or I'm going to hurt you. So if we can save one kid any given week, that's a blessing. So keep your eyes open. The 1-800 number is there. And as always, if you'd like to support the channel, I have discount codes for a variety of goodies ranging from ReadyWise Foods to Wallaby Mylar bags and all their goodies over there. Roamer 15 if you want to get the ETA Survival Water Filter, which I still need to do a video on. And you can get 10% off a holster at 1791 Holster Company. And yes, that is one of my carry holsters. Actually, the one I use probably more than any. But as always, take care of yourself. Take care of your priorities. If you just happen to be getting these products anyway, you want to help us out, that's great. It, helps us do what we do. But at all times, take care of the ones who need it the most in your life. And remember, check prices. I'm a business guy. I'm all about getting the best deal. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my spiel for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it insightful. I was a little more somber on this one because some of these headlines, they mean something to everybody. So you guys be careful out there, but pay attention. Do your homework, right? We prep for the people we care about. We fight this fight not because of what's in front of us, but because of the people we love behind us. Even if it's just your dogs and cats. Hey, dogs and cats need love too. In any case, folks, you guys be safe out there. God bless, Godspeed. And as always, keep your eyes open. Pay attention to what's going on. You don't want to get caught off guard. And most people are not paying attention. I promise you, we're a very small percentage of people who are watching what's going on. And last but not least, I will be trying to put out as many conflict updates. Again, I try not to be fear-mongery, but to give you stats and facts that you or people you know can take action on, and to keep you aware of any developments that might affect us on the home side. In any case, God bless, Godspeed. You guys keep safe out there.